But anyways, when I plan a trip, I go a little crazy. So people often ask me how I plan the trips, because when we go, we see absolutely everything. I'm a bit of a stickler. I do not leave a lot up for. I'm not a big believer in serendipity. I when I plan a trip, I go there like I'm never going back. So I always make sure that I see everything that I can. Um, we had we've planned our trip to Banff in June, and it was very hard to plan something because the last time we were there, we saw pretty much everything. So it's a little tough to find new things to do. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of explore and show you guys how I do that process. Hey, Daryl, Speedo is on and you're ready. Well, I'm wearing my assless chaps, so we're in good company. All right. So you all know I'm still fairly new to live streaming, and I'm very new to screen sharing. So I don't know how this is going to work. Hopefully it's going to work well. So Daryl, did you just rehash that video, or did you go out in the snow in your Speedo again? Is that a new video, or is that just, we're just watching the same one? Because I tried to delete the other one as much as possible. Oh, hey, William, I didn't even see you sneak in. Yeah. So without further ado, let's see if I can share my screen here. I think I can. If I do this, and I do this, and I do that. Now, can I go back? So if I go here, yeah, okay, that seems to work. There are 2 snow Speedo videos. Wow. Okay. Is that a brag? I hope that's not a brag. All right. So easy for me to plan my trips, but I thought it would be fun to plan a trip with just a random destination. So if anybody has an idea, and if anybody says Sesame Street, I'm going to turn this car around right now and go home. I do not know how to get to Sesame Street. We've already been through that. But if anybody else wants to check things out, we'll just do a short trip. Any suggestions? Fraggle Rock. That's perfect, Daryl. Thanks. I think, is that near Kelowna? It might be. I'm just going to put, I do know the way to San Jose, Sue. I'm just going to put my phone up here because I won't be able to see the chat once I go on the live screen. So I'll put here. William wants to go to Maine. Any particular spot in Maine, William? Are we going to Bar Harbor, or are we going to go to, well, I did Old Orchard earlier this year. Hey, Bree. Yeah, that's cool, Daryl. Sue has been to Booth Bay Harbor in Maine. Shall we go back there and see what there is to do? Anywhere in Maine? Well, let's have a look. So, here we are in Maine. Maybe we can get all the way up to the Canadian border. What if we were to take Highway 1? Highway 1, let's see what we can see from the Canadian border to, oh, maybe let's go as far south as Boston. What do you guys think? So, Highway 1 crosses into Canada. There's the Canadian border. Oh, it's here. So the one crosses the border right here. What river is that? So we'll start up on the Canadian side. So the first thing I do, leave the car in the park at the harbor in Boston. We could. I'm in the middle of editing the Florida videos, and we are at the other end of Highway 1 in Key West in one of the upcoming videos. And I do want to get to the other end, which is at the border of Maine and Nova Scotia. Or no, wait. That's New Brunswick? Right on this side, this is still New Brunswick. Tanya would know. Tanya's up there. All right. So let's say we're going to do a road trip. The first thing I'm going to do on Google Maps is I'm going to find out how long it's going to take me to get here. So let's look at, are there any campsites around here? There's a town here. So there's probably a campsite somewhere close by. And if I can't find one, I'll show you what I do about that. But there is likely a campground somewhere here. Yeah, I do definitely want to. Hey, Cookie. Cookie's driving. He can't chat. But listening into the nonsense. All right. So we're going to start here on the Canadian side. And I'm just going to drop a pin here. If it lets me. Directions to here. We're just going to put Ottawa. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the drive time and see how long it's going to take me. It's going to take me 9 hours to get there. If I go through the States, I'll be crossing over here somewhere right into Maine, actually. I would have thought that I was going to go through the corner of Vermont, but no, we're going right into Maine from Canada. So chances are I am going to try to find a halfway point. I have been this way to Quebec City. Actually, I've gone all the way up to Rivière-du-Loup and then come down to get to the Maritimes. Yeah, that is very true, Sue. I've heard that. It's some folks do the 3 hours to 300 miles and get there by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so they're not setting up in the dark. I, unfortunately, am not that smart, and I always end up setting up in the dark. Trying to organize 7 people. Sometimes I don't leave till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out how long it's going to take me to get there. Okay. And then if we're doing a drive down the 1, so typically I will go, I know everybody has their own. I used to do 12 to 13 hours without too much of a problem. Now I don't like to do more than 8. This is 9 Google time, which means it's probably closer to 12 in regular time and trailer time. So that is not going to be doable in one trip for me. I'm probably going to stop somewhere in around here. So what I do like to do is try to find a spot, if I can, on Google Maps, see if I can find a camping spot. And if I can't, my secret weapon of choice is we're going to go here and we're going to share this tab. And this is Road Trippers for anybody who doesn't know what this is. Road Trippers has a paid version and a free version. This is the paid version. It always goes on sale around Black Friday. And I think it cost me like $29 US for your subscription. I don't even remember. But there are a ton of, you can see down here, there are a ton of landmarks already on it. So it is very handy. As you can see, there is absolutely nothing to see in Canada because they have not put any anything in here. As you get closer, there is more stuff in and around Canada, but it is very US heavy. Anyways, let's go over. And what I like to do is, let's find the end of the one again. And what I like to do is I like to is that the same spot? Does that look the same? What I like to do is I like to pick the same spot on the map. And let's start a new trip. We're going to, well, let's say Duty Free Americas, just so that we can get it in here. There we go. And we're starting from Ottawa. And the reason why I do this is I want to see if this route is going to be the same as the Google Maps route. And the reason why I do that is road trippers with the paid version. I also have Togo RV, and Togo RV has an RV GPS in it. And so the size of my rig is programmed in there. So it will avoid things that it knows, places it knows that I won't fit. So I like to compare this map to this map to see if they are the same. And if they are the same, then I know that I'm on the right path. I can always move this. Google is very easy to program. And if you don't know how to use Google Maps, it is well worth learning. It is a wealth of knowledge. This is a blank version. If you saw my version, there's pins all over it. You can save stuff. You can make lists. I have a list for every trip that we're going on, every trip that we've been on, every trip that I'm looking at going, every place that somebody's told me that I have to stop or eat or whatever. And it's just a mess. So that's why I'm using this much cleaner version. It doesn't have anything on it. So the route looks the same. And so now I'm going to toggle back and forth between the two to see what there is to see on the road. And with this, I can set how far I want to see things off of the main route, how far out I'm willing to go to see attractions or what have you. And the beauty of this is we can look up sites and attractions, and it'll show me things all along the way. It'll show me things to see when I'm there. It will show me places to camp. So I have all the campgrounds. So if I do want to stop before we cross the border, oh, actually, I think we do cross just into the corner of Vermont. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, because the Canadian border goes up here and the border for Maine is here. So yeah, we're just crossing through just the tip of Vermont and part of New Hampshire. Grand total before we hit the main border is maybe 20 minutes. Anyways, so if we're going to camp, I'm going to look at these campsites. I can find them in here. I can add them to the trip. Sometimes they'll have, like, if I look at something like this, you'll be able to book it right through here, and they'll even offer some sort of a discount if you're doing it through here. But when I do find a place like that, I like to back it up and go and find it up here. Well, is this route a little bit different? Yeah, this route doesn't look like it travels through here. So I don't believe that that is the same route. Eustis. Sherbrooke. No, the other one goes through Granby. Through here. And I believe it takes the 141 south. Oh, you guys, I'm jumping between the screens and you guys aren't seeing that. So if I go through here, if I go back onto Google Maps, looks like it takes a slightly different route through Google Maps because the campsite that we just found is right here. And again, this is where Google Maps comes in handy. I can zoom in. I can see if there's anything that's worth seeing. Is it a big campsite? Is it a little campsite? Is it going to be big enough for my rig? But once we have the two, I won't go and line everything up. But once we have the two routes in alignment, I'll follow the route. Sometimes I will even drop down onto the route to see what's coming. So I'm going to go right to the end here. So something like this. Yeah, see, this crosses in a different spot. So when I get into the planning, I will actually take the little Google guy and drop him on the road so that we can kind of get an idea of what's here, what we're looking at, what's not blocked out. Oh, it's because that's the border. That's probably why it was blocked out, but it's fine here. But, you know, you can see a lot more from here and get an idea of what we're looking at specifically. From there, I will check all around, see what there is to see here, especially if we're spending a night. So knowing that the one starts up here, probably one of the biggest things I'm going to do is find that sign. Because this is US 1. Yeah, Google Maps is probably the thing that I use the most. The Road Trippers just kind of adds in. I found things on Road Trippers that I didn't see on Google Maps, and I found things on Google Maps that I didn't see on Road Trippers. So you can see here, we can zoom in, and you can see the sign up here. So this is the first sign. The first sign on. No, that can't be the first sign because that says north. But anyways, I would use this to find the first sign on the road to make sure that we're going to see it, because we have our picture with the last sign on the road or the first sign, depending on how you look at it. And this still says that it's Main Street. And at one point, does it turn into US 1? Now it says Route 1. So, oh, the places we will go. Oh, what does this say? State of Maine. So we are on the US 1. Usually it's a lot smoother than this. So this is still considered Main Street. At some point here, you can see here on the ground, it turns into US 1. That's a nice little trailer. That looks like an Oliver. That looks like a molded trailer. Yes, north is up, Sue. You're right. But no, we would want to be going south to cross into the States. But again, once I find that sign, it would be a mark on the map, which is really easy to do. So let's just say I'm going to. This is still saying Main Street, and this is saying 1. So I'm guessing that the sign is going to be around here somewhere. And I'm going to mark this. Whoop. Put that. Why is it copying it to the clipboard? Well, it's not much of a trip I'm planning so far. Anyways, well, I can't find the sign. But when I do find the sign, I will mark it. But let's just say that we're going to stop over here. We're going to stop at Joe's for dinner. I'm just going to mark that. and I'm going to save it, and it's going to ask me where I want to save it. And from here, I can create a new list, and we're going to say US 1. We'll just call it US 1 is going to be where we're starting our trip. So now everything that I save, I can save underneath that trip. And it's saving and saving and saving. Normally it's not this slow. Yeah, so that didn't seem to work either. I swear this is how I plan trips. But I would find the interesting stuff along the way. Lighthouses, I love lighthouses, so we're probably going to stop there and see that. Let's try this again. US 1. Create. Oh, it's telling me that it failed to create the list, so I'm not sure what's happening with that. Okay, well, let's try something else then. If that's not working. Let's go here for a second. I'll bring you over to the big scary screen. So some of my trips have been taken off. On this one, you can see the pins that I have, stars that I have. As you zoom in, you see more and more. And on here, I have a ton of lists in here as well. So there we go. So you can see here, if you're familiar with the maps at all, we are planning a trip to Cape Cod in August. So these are all my places of interest that have been saved. And it's just a quick click. And there you go. We're staying at the Sun Resorts in Cape Cod. And then once I've planned all this portion of it, we can go back. I'll just go to Road Trippers here. And we'll look. And I can go back to my trips. And as you can see, there are a lot of trips already planned. 4 pages of trips. Everything's in here. There's Cape Cod. And I can look at a lot of things, but it also has our entire trip planned through here with all the different points of interest. This I can plan by the day. If you're not familiar with Road Trippers, you may also know, what is it? RV Trip Wizard, I think, is the other big one. And this is RV Trip Wizard. I think Sonia uses this one. I have never tried it. They didn't have a trial when I was first looking. Yes, William, every pin stays until I delete it. And I have them separated by different lists, different trips. I don't have anything against Trip Wizard. Like I said, I got Road Trippers because it was a really good deal, and they didn't have a trial on this when I checked it. The one feature that Trip Wizard has that Road Trippers does not is this here: the set driving times and distances. With this feature, and I've seen other RVers use it, you can set in the maximum distance that you want to travel in a day, or the maximum either your miles or your hours, and it calculates it very much like yes, Sonia does end up in cornfields. I think that was Google that did that. But yeah, this is a feature that I would really like to have in Road Trippers, but they don't have it. But anyways, so going back here, so yeah, so I can plan everything in here. I can put dates. so that I can plan my days. I can go back and forth to the campsite. So the campsite shows up on here quite a few times. It shows me things along the way, so I can pick stops along the way, things that I want to see. And then I can take those. Oop, I guess it would help if I actually share the tab, right? So I can find things all along the way that I can see. We can look at different attractions that are here. I can find outdoors, hikes, state parks, national parks. Can find restaurants. We can find hotels if we need a hotel. You can find gas. There's quite a bit of stuff on here. And they have a mobile app as well. So the mobile app's on the phone. So I have this with me all the time. But yeah, looking back, so I can have the route all planned out through here. And then I can do the corresponding route through Google Maps and have the same spots marked off. So you can see these were some of the spots that we had marked off, which was interesting because this is where Sonia's video was. If you watch Sonia's video on Saturday, this is exactly where she was, and this is exactly where we're going. That's a little far from where you are now, Daryl. But yeah, so these will stay on here. These are part of lists that I believe I can access my lists from in here. No. Save. So yeah, so here's my lists. So all the places, and it has everything in here. So Cape Cod, everything that I've saved is all in here. So it's easy to find. It's easy to do. Once I've taken care of all of that, I then make a Google document, and the Google document will kind of give us a breakdown of everywhere that we're going to go. So this is still in the planning stages for May, of what we're going to do, where we're staying, how much it's going to cost. And whoop, there, share this tab instead. I'm really getting bad at sharing the tabs. Anyways, so yeah, I will make a list like this. A lot of times they're way more detailed than that. I have a master list for the whole year, for where we're going, what we're going to do. And I have one for every, whoop, that's the master list. So I have a master list, and the master list connects to the itinerary so that it's easy to find stuff. And it's just so much easier. So there's a lot of research that goes into these, because I really don't like to miss anything. I want to make sure that we're going to see everything that there is to see. And if I go to, if I do a search here, and I'm just going to pull up. I will also do research on everywhere where we're going. And this is information that I'll use in the videos. It's also information that I pass on to the passengers. And, well, hello, Mona. And so that everybody knows where we're going. And I love doing this. It's Gillen says I should have been a travel agent, because I absolutely love doing this. And so I do all of the research so that everybody else can just enjoy the facts and not have to go through it themselves. And so that's, did Mona miss the part where we were on, I think Mona missed the part where we were on Google Maps. She missed a lesson. Maybe that's a good thing. Then she can't find us. Anyway, anybody have anything that they wanted to add or any other tips that you can think of? Cow fence is good. Bree sitting down. This is great info. We didn't hit any beaches, Bree. There was no clams. Not that there was clams at the beach you were at either. There was a lot of holes at the beach you were at, but no clams. Well, thanks, Sue. I know you and Bob used to travel in the van. And things have changed so much since we started traveling. We've been traveling since we've been on the road for 12 years. And I mean, we had Google Maps, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this at all. So, and that's why I like to do, like, I want to go back to the Florida Keys, but if we never go back, I've seen everything that there is to see. There's very little that we left, that we didn't look at, that we didn't go to. And it's funny because Guylain's parents travel with us a couple times a year, and they're in their 70s, and we go, we don't stop. We actually had to skip a few stops in Florida because they wanted to go to a beach and just sit for a little bit. And that was not, sitting is not on my itinerary. You're sitting in the car driving between places. So yeah, Google Maps is awesome. And if you're old like me, you remember Google Maps when it was attached to Wikipedia. And you could zoom in on any place in the world. And if it had a W on it, you could click on it and it would take you to the Wikipedia page. I think we all know the validity of a lot of the Wikipedia pages, but at least you could get some general info and do some further research if you wanted. There was many nights that I'd spend, looking at islands in the Mediterranean for no reason whatsoever, and then looking up and it was 4:00 in the morning and I had to be at work for 6. So, yeah, you're welcome to tag along. We'll pick you up on the way. If we go back to the Keys, and we are looking at one of the things that we talked about doing was we're paying for storage up here. So Guylain and I thought, for $99, they have these sales on all the time on the flights where you can fly for $99 to Orlando. There's no reason why we couldn't leave the trailer down there and fly down or like leave the truck and the trailer down there, fly home, and just fly down when we want to use the trailer during the winter. Because it just sits here all winter doing nothing, and I'm paying for storage anyways. I might as well pay for storage down there and jump on a flight once in a while and enjoy it. So maybe we'll find a place somewhere around Daytona and you guys can come with us. But with that, we shall move along to random thoughts. So if you guys do have any questions about Google Maps or road trippers or anything, I'm always happy to share. I love doing this, like I said, and yeah, it's a lot of fun for me, but I make it count. Oh, hello, Sonia. Sonia is at the intermission. Oh, you're at a play. Just popping in to say hi real quick. We're seeing Murder on the Orient Express. Very nice. Very nice. Brie has no idea what Murder on the Orient Express is. It's an Agatha Christie novel. And it's a movie. Where's that movie, Tanya? You know where the movie is. Is it on Prime or was it on Netflix? I can't remember now. Yeah, the movie's really good, Brie. I really liked it, and I don't watch movies, so that's saying a lot. And then what was the second one? There was Murder on the Orient Express, and then what was the one on the boat, which was also an Agatha Christie novel, and the boat one was good too. Death on the Nile. That's it. Yeah, that was fantastic. Both good movies. Highly recommend. But where are they? Death on the Nile was 2022, but it doesn't say where it is. And Murder on the Orient Express was 2017. But I have no idea if it's on Netflix or Prime. So, I mean, it's an old book. Was it made as a movie before the 2017 version, Sue? I don't know. I like the new versions. I'm not as big on the old movies. Even when I see movies that are, I mean, not old by old standards, but stuff when I was. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Brody. Brody, William Brody. Enjoy your dinner. Tanya says Death on the Nile is on Disney, the new version. So the 2022. That's probably where I saw it. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of movies. Hold on. My God, I feel like I can't do anything tonight. View the photo. Do you want me to show that, Sonia? Or is that just proof? Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm checking it. I'm checking the phone now. Why won't it play? Okay, well, Sonia sent me a photo and now I can't see it. I don't know what I did. So I can't see it, so none of you get to see it. I don't know what happened. Enjoy the rest of your play, Sonia. Anyways, I can't show you. All right, so let us move on. Right, you can't type tonight, and I feel like I'm speaking gibberish. I like I spend all day. You've seen me plan trips, Tanya, at work, maybe. And I don't know. It just feels it's awkward with everybody watching. I guess I don't know. Hello, Xavier and Guylaine are home. All right, so let's start with our random thoughts for the week because I'm running behind. So random thought number 1, the Japanese phrase "kuchi zamishi" is the act of eating when you are not hungry because your mouth is lonely. I think I eat like that a lot. Random thought number 2, someone studying atoms is just a bunch of atoms trying to understand themselves. And there goes the dog. Elena's out, so at some point he is going to start barking because she will be coming back. Again, any offers? Anybody wants the dog? I am sitting in the dark. Well, it's not dark. I have a light right here. The rest of the room is dark, but it's because nobody's home to turn the lights on. And it's dark here, Daryl, because it's what is it? It's 5:43 where you are, but it's 8:43 here. That's actually still pretty light out, but random thought number 3. You may have once made a decision that saved your life and you didn't even know it. There you go, Daryl. Speaking of the dark, you are not scared of being alone in the dark. You are scared that you're not alone in the dark. Yeah, it was purple. I don't know how it got blue, but it was purple. Funny thing is Sonia mentioned that she preferred blue, and then the week after it was blue. So I don't know. The battery died, and then I had to plug it in. So, all righty. Random thought number 5. The number of people older than you never goes up. Why? Because nobody would be able to pass you. So why is that even a random thought? That's just common sense. But anyway. Random thought number 6. One day you'll be somebody's ancestor. Isn't that frightening? You'll be somebody's great grandmother, grandfather. But the one thing that's so different for us, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that we figured out to do video, is my great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren are going to be able to go back and look at videos and look at things like this and see that great-great-grandpa Gord was a little nuts and hung out with crazy people. But at least they'll know that we weren't boring sitting in rocking chairs. Random thought number 7. Your car keys have traveled further than your car. Kind of a weird thing, right? Your car keys have traveled further than your car because they travel with your car, so they travel the same distance as your car, but then you put them in your pocket and you walk around, so they've had far more mileage than your car ever would. Random thought number 8. When you are being chased, let's try that again. When you are being chased by a killer, you are both running for your life. I think that ties back into the being alone in the dark. You're not scared of being alone in the dark. You're scared of not being alone in the dark. Random thought number 9. Social anxiety is basically conspiracy theories about yourself. Now, Mona, your great-great-grandkid will not know why you went to hell. They'll understand why you weren't able to find it. Hell is down. That's south. And random thought number 10. By the age of 31, you have already celebrated your birthday for an entire month. Some of us, it's been a little longer than that, but sure. Mona equals Angel, just like Brie. You do that every Sue celebrates her birthday for an entire month every year. After I hit 25, I stopped remembering how old I was even. And the funny thing is, if you've watched any of our videos, we're always on the road for my birthday, it seems. And it seems that wherever we are, there just happens to be fireworks. And so it's always my comment that they're having fireworks for my birthday. So watch for that in the video. So we missed it one year, but yeah, we were one year we were at Disney, and Disney has fireworks every night. But of course, they had fireworks for my birthday. We happened to be on the boardwalk in Wildwood, and my birthday was on a Friday night, and they have fireworks every Friday night at the boardwalk. So Canada celebrate my birthday with a day off. Oh, happy July 1st. All right, time for Would You Rather. All right. Would you rather work the job you have now for a year at double your current rate of pay, or have a year off with what you're making now? I think I'd rather have the year off with pay. Canada celebrates my birthday with a day off, and then you said November 11th. Well, technically, November 11th isn't a holiday, but we do celebrate on November 11th in Ottawa, because we are the capital of Canada, and they have the War Memorial here, and no business is allowed to open before 12 noon, because there's so much going on downtown, and there's planes flying, and so all the businesses are closed until 12. But yeah, all the businesses open after 12. The federal government has a holiday. I can tell you, working 30 years in retail, that Remembrance Day is the busiest shopping day of the year, because in Ottawa anyways, because all the government employees are off for the day, but the kids all have school. So the parents all go out and do their Christmas shopping. It's like Black Friday. It's crazy. It's not a federal stat though, Daryl. Maybe it's a BC stat. It's not a stat in Ontario either. And as far as I know, we used to get it off though. Like when I was in school, we were never in school for Remembrance Day ever. And Tanya says everything in New Brunswick is closed on Remembrance Day. It should be. I would agree with that 100%. It should be, but it's not. But Sue would rather have a year off. Bree, November 11th is Remembrance Day in Canada. It's kind of like Memorial Day. I don't know. What is it called in the States for November 11th? I know it's Armistice Day. I'm going to hurt myself. Armistice Day. Is that what it is? Let's look over here. See if we can figure this out. Veterans Day. Should have asked when William was here. Veterans Day, yeah. No, Mona, Canadians don't bar hop. We just walk around with alcohol. It's a stat in BC. It should be a stat everywhere, But like all other stats, then it ends up just being a day off. People don't use it for what it's supposed to be. Would more people or less people honor veterans if they didn't go to work? Most provinces it is. See, and then in Ontario, we get Family Day. I don't think that's a thing everywhere either. In February, we get the third Monday of February off for Family Day, and it's a stat. Anyway. All right. Would you rather only eat pizza for a year? Would you rather eat only pizza for a year or not eat any pizza for 5 years? I think I'd rather not eat pizza for 5 years. I don't know that I can eat only pizza for a year. And then I guess the question comes up, is there pineapple on the pizza? Yeah, Family Day as well. Well, I'm just going to have to move to BC. I guess that's what it is. Mona would also rather not eat pizza for 5 years. I just don't think I could eat pizza every day. I guess if you could change it up. If you could, have pepperoni one day, have deluxe the next day. I mean, realistically, it's just a sandwich, right? Yeah, if you could have different toppings, maybe. Have thin crust, have thick crust, have cheese crust. Little Caesars now has a pretzel crust. Ontario and Quebec are the ones without stats. See, and when you think of the amount of Canadian Forces bases that are located in Ontario and Quebec, you think of Valcartier and Trenton, and I mean, these are some of the biggest bases in Canada, and we don't have a stat. In 6 provinces, it's a stat, and 3 territories. Wow, that's crazy. Well, thanks for looking that up. Tanya does not like pineapple on her pizza. What about, Tanya, if you're at Boston Pizza and they're serving fish bowls? Would you eat the pineapple on the pizza then? Would you rather detect every lie you hear or get away with every lie you tell? I guess it depends on if you get away with every lie you tell now and how many lies you need to tell. Nova Scotia doesn't have Remembrance Day and Family Day as stats either. Mona would rather detect lies she hears. Do you get lied to a lot, Mona? Mona, you're very good with directions. See, that's not a lie. Sue would also like to detect lies. They all want to know who the liar pants on fire is. The fishbowl will never be big enough for pineapples. Wow. How big is a fishbowl? Is that like a liter? If you don't know, if anybody who doesn't know what a fishbowl at Boston Pizza is, it's a ginormous drink. And there may or may not be a story of Tanya and somebody else that I work with getting into a cab with one. But anyway, I digress. Would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader? Talk like Yoda, I would like. I can't even do it. I think I'd prefer to talk like Baby Yoda and say nothing. Sue, Mona, and Daryl would all like to talk like Yoda. It's about a liter, maybe more. Yeah, that's a little bit too much booze at once. Wow. Okay. And last but not least, yeah, you shouldn't have shame. That's a good story. Um, all right, Yoda Daryl. Dinner, I can dinner. I eat goat. Okay. Thanks for coming by, Daryl. Have a good evening. I'm going to start wrapping it up here. But before we wrap it up, let's have one more. Would you rather work for Michael Scott or Mr. Burns? Well, Tanya's already had the pleasure of working for Michael Scott. I did take Sue doesn't know them. Thank you, Daryl. Yes, everyone hit the thumbs button on your way in or out. Who are they? Who are you? What do you mean, who are they? No, the dog is back. Mr. Burns is the owner of the nuclear power plant in The Simpsons. Yes, Smithers. And Michael Scott is Michael. He's the boss in The Office. And if you haven't seen The Office, you should really watch The Office. It's crazy. See, that's what she said. That's right, Brie. Sue, you should know The Office. I watched The Office, and it took me 3 tries to get through the first 3 episodes, and then after that, I couldn't get enough of it. The Office is very funny, but it's stupid humor. The Simpsons is an acquired taste that I grew out of a while ago. When I was in college, The Simpsons was on. I remember watching the very first episode. It was on Sunday nights at 8, and we used to all make sure that we were home, that we were back at our house in college if we had gone home for the weekend or whatever. And everybody had to make sure that they were home by 8 o'clock to watch that. 33 years of The Simpsons. That's crazy. I gave up about, I'm going to say probably 13, 14 years ago. It was just too much. Brie never watches TV, but she's seen some Office. Yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny. And it's nice that it's little half-hour snippets. I don't watch TV anymore either. Very rarely. Gillen and I watch maybe half an hour to an hour a night. But YouTube is on all day. So I'm either watching somebody's stuff or I'm playing something in the background to get them some watch hours. And that's my favorite part of the show is when Jim looks into the camera. It's too funny. 761 episodes. Caden has watched all of them. See, yeah, my kids were more into Family Guy, and I didn't like Family Guy at all. And I like the Family Guy memes. I like the TikToks once in a while. If you've never Google Peter Griffin, well, here, I'll see if I can find it because it is the funniest thing. Peter Griffin trying to back his boat into the water. And if any of you have driven it with a trailer and tried to back in, it is pretty funny. See if I can find it, and I'll put the link. Oh, of course. Hold on here. Can we share this? Yeah. Share. Let's just copy the link. And I'll go here. And yeah, we'll just make that your internet homework. Go and watch that, because if anybody's driven it with a trailer and tried to back it into a campsite, you'll relate to this entirely. Yeah. Another, ding fries are done. Talking about breaking the fourth wall. Glenn and I think I talked about this last week. Once a year, we watch all 8 seasons of Three's Company. So we started watching that again. And my favorite part of Three's Company is in the first 3 seasons, you have the Ropers. And it's when Stanley makes a comment that is rude and inappropriate, and then he looks directly into the camera and laughs. And that's just my favorite part of that show entirely. Anyways, yeah, Three's Company is just they're funny. I don't know that they would get away with half of that now. But just how good the actors are and how good they are together and how realistic they make it seem. It's just the timing, and it's an ideal show. It's fantastic. But anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. So looking at the week ahead, if you have not seen Bree's video, she released something this morning. Sonia is on tomorrow at 6:30 on Garden State Paint channel. Friday is also on after Traveling Robert. Friday night, 7 to 9. Saturday morning, 9 to 10. We have Bob and Sue. Carol Burnett was fantastic too. Yeah. Yeah. Any scene with Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, just Tanya's a big Three's Company fan too. Yeah, so we've got Bob and Sue Saturday morning with I assume Sonia's going to have a release at 10 on Saturday morning, as she always does. Yeah, Mr. Bean is, for one man to do that all by himself, is comedic genius as well. Daryl's releasing a new video tomorrow. Good. Oh, the dentist, yeah. The dentist. It's Tim Conway was so genius, that Harvey Korman just couldn't keep a straight face. And yet the snorky with that was Dick Van Dyke with Tim Conway and Vicki Lawrence. Yeah, that one was funny too. If you haven't seen that one with Tim Conway doing the bit about the Siamese elephants, that was on Mama's Family though. But yeah, just too funny. And Mr. Huygens. Yeah, just classic comedy. Anyways, on that note, I think that it is time to go and watch some Three's Company. So with that, I bid you all adieu. Next week, I may change the time a little bit. Guylaine is occupied, and so I will be, when Dick Van Dyke falls off the couch, that's the best part. So I have an appointment to attend to next week. So I may either do the live from my car, or I may just put it a little bit later. I haven't decided yet. Mona's eldest son has a life-size cardboard cutout of Mr. Bean in his garage window. That is awesome. Yeah. Is he peeking? Yeah, that would be great. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Sue. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. And we will talk to you next week. Take care. Good night, everyone.